What's up, level uppers? This is my second time trying out one of these dash cam videos. I don't know what to call it. It's only my second time, so I haven't figured it out yet. It's kind of a video blog, but if you guys have some type of a clever or unique idea for the name of these moving forward, please let me know in the comments. And also don't forget to like the video if you do end up liking it. Last time around I talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake. You guys seem to like when I talk about Final Fantasy, so I'm going to continue doing that. This time around, what I want to talk about is what I think the first episode of the Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be. What are they going to cover? What's the gameplay going to be like? When's it going to end? The one thing I want to say right off the bat is it needs to start with the bombing mission. I remember it was probably a year ago or more that I think Tetsuya Nomura said there's a possibility that it's not going to start the way that Final Fantasy VII started, and that's just automatically huge red flag. No way, you can't do this. Like, it has to start with the bombing mission. It has to start with Aeris and her looking into the live stream and then walking out, into the slums. Or it has to start that way. I don't know what they're thinking if they try and do anything other than that. And there's really no reason to do it other than to try and be different. That's a great start to the game. It throws you into an action-packed sequence right off the bat. I remember being so hooked right off of that opening CGI and Cloud flipping off of the train. That is perfect. That is beautiful. Do not change it. I know you're watching this, Square Enix, obviously. Level Up Network, with our 3,700 subscribers, we matter. So do not change the opening to Final Fantasy VII. Otherwise, I'm really hoping that they take a lot of cues from 15, actually, and that might not be a popular opinion among a lot of people. It's not the best received Final Fantasy game, but I think there's certain things about 15 that are exactly what I wanted the series to go towards. In particular, just having everyone on screen with you and really feeling like you're inhabiting the world and never taken out of it. Because I remember when I would imagine the Final Fantasy VII Remake years ago, I would dream about it. I'm not even lying. I know that sounds pathetic, but I would dream about what the Final Fantasy VII Remake would be. And I always imagined the first time leaving Midgar and what that would be like. And even though I'm not sure that we're even going to get to that point in the first episode, but I always imagined heading out for the first time and it almost being like you were blocked. There's like a lot of mountains around you, and it's real early in the morning, and you get to this pass through, kind of like you're going through a valley on the way to Calm, and the sun is rising, and it's almost like they timed it perfectly with the orchestral score, that main theme, Cloud's theme. And right as you get through the valley, the score rises and chocobos run by you, because over on the right side, once you get through, you can see Chocobo Farm, you can see the swamp area, and in the distance, of course, you can see Calm. And that's always what I imagined, is all three of your, or maybe even more, who knows, but at least two party members with you, beside you, running with you, talking while you're running, the score in the background, everything just kind of being on the screen at the same time. The monsters, of course, as well, all enemies on screen with you. So really what I'm imagining is 15 in that way. Like, imagine Duske, but of course modeled after Final Fantasy VII, and that's just perfect to me. And I imagine once you get to Calm, there's no break, there's no loading time. You run into the town, you open the door to the store, and your party members follow behind you as they go into the store to look around, to browse as you shop, talking with you, holding the door for you potentially, just all feeling seamless, like you are totally in the world. That's always what I imagined for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I feel like 15 got really close to achieving what I had in my head. So I hope they continue that. Don't change that up. It doesn't have to be fully open world, and I don't expect Final Fantasy VII Remake to be open world, but I think it can take some of those cues from Final Fantasy 15, and I hope that it does. Now, when it comes to the gameplay, we've talked about this a lot recently, and with them saying that it's going to be action-based combat, red flag for a lot of people who wanted turn-based. I was never against the idea of action-based, but I did say last week or 2 weeks ago that I thought the idea of you switching to Barrett and shooting your gun and hacking and slashing was a bad idea. But the more that I let that sink in, the more I realized that it actually could be really, really cool. I'm thinking about, what if every single character is unique and individual, and they really spend the time to make those characters feel unique? And in the Guardian Scorpion battle, if you are not hacking and slashing, because that's the bad way to put it, but if you are, using Kingdom Hearts style combat with Cloud, slashing your sword and doing your limit breaks and magic and all that kind of stuff, and then you quickly press R1 to switch over to Barret, because Guardian Scorpion is now on the ceiling or he's on the walls, and you need Barret in order to fire long distance at the enemy. That's cool. If they figure out ways to make every battle where you need to think what character is the right character to choose in this moment, and to really make it fast-paced where you're switching quickly back and forth between characters. You switch off to Tifa for melee combat, get up close and personal, CQC, fighting with the fisticuffs. That's cool. Switch over to Vincent using the pistol. Switch over to Sid using the spear, jumping and doing the, what's that called? I can't remember off the top of my head, but when he jumps up in the air and slams down with the spear. That's awesome to think about every character controlling differently, and you having to learn the ins and outs of those characters. That's a really cool idea. They just need to make sure that the environments and the enemies are designed in such a way where it's strategic. Don't make it simple. Don't, make us think, make us plan out which character is the best one to use in certain situations, and keep it moving, keep it switching off in the same battle. Make it so that we have to switch. That's the best way to go about it if they are going with action-based combat, which it seems like that's the case. They're not going to go turn-based. Let's be honest. It's a dream for so many people that they just need to let crush at this point. You're not getting turn-based. A lot of people are upset about it, but just don't buy the game is the answer to that one. I mean, speak with your dollar if you really don't like them going action-based. Now, as far as how I feel about where does this episode end, how far do they go? It's got to end at the end of Midgar, I think. And that might seem really short, and it might turn out to be short. But they're going to flesh out Midgar in a better way. It's probably going to be twice as long, if not longer. And a lot of people will say, like, why? And the reason for it is, if you go back to Final Fantasy VII, the original, you're fading in and out of screens. You have no travel time. You're suddenly in one location, you go through a loading screen, and you're suddenly miles away. That's the way Final Fantasy VII Original was. It's not going to be that way anymore. You're going to be running in real time between these locations, and that travel time is going to matter. It's going to really flesh out Midgar. You used to go into a house before, and it was one pre-rendered screen where you would open up a chest and talk to one person. You can't get away with that anymore. It's got to be like The Witcher or Final Fantasy 15, where every single area is detailed and developed, and it feels like a real-world location with a one-to-one scale. And if you're doing that with the entirety of Midgar, it's going to be huge. It could maybe even be 15 hours worth of playtime if you go that route. And I just feel like, as far as pacing goes and having that set-piece moment, I imagine the motorcycle sequence being really badass. I kind of imagine Advent Children, actually. That entire motorcycle sequence in Advent Children, and just the awesome action that occurred in that scene. If they can bring over that same level of action to that sequence in the Final Fantasy VII Remake, that is a really cool way to end the episode. Especially if you face off at the end of the road, you come and you face that huge robot, whatever it was. That's cool. You don't have to face off against Rufus, and I don't think you should. I think that it should just be the sequence itself is the boss battle. Kind of like Uncharted. Uncharted doesn't really have a lot of boss battles. It has set-piece moments, and they're memorable. And I think you could do that with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Just have a really cool set piece that ends in a battle with a robot. You rappel down at the end, and you're about to leave Midgar. Maybe you just step out and you see the massive world, you see calm in the distance, and it just cuts to black there. To be continued in episode 2. I would be okay with that. Even if it's only 15 hours, I'm okay with that. Hopefully priced accordingly. I'd be okay with that. But I have a feeling a lot of people want them to get to, like, Junon. And I don't see that happening in the first episode. That seems like a lot for the first episode. We don't even know how many episodes it's going to be. Could it be 3? Could it be 5? who knows? We still have so much to learn about the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and who knows when it's going to happen. But I'll probably keep talking about it because obviously it's my favorite game of all time, and I enjoy speculating on what's to come with the remake. And I love hearing too what you guys think is going to happen. So what do you want? How do you want the game to open? How do you want episode 1 to close? How do you want the combat to be structured? Let me know please in the comments below. If you liked the video, please hit that like button and subscribe, of course. About 18% of the people that watch and like our videos actually subscribe to them. So please, yeah, hit that sub button because we have a ton of content here on youtube.com/the level up network for you to check out. And I'll be back in a week or two with another one of these dash cam video vlog journal things. Until then, take care. And as always, don't forget to level up.